Happy Monday, everyone. Good to see everyone again. I am Colin Weston. I am the host of ModGolf Live. Thanks for joining us. Well, it's Monday morning for me. I'm here in Vancouver on the West Coast. If you're joining us from the East Coast, happy lunchtime. So today I have yet another one of my fabulous guests that I've had on the ModGolf podcast over the last 7 years, and that is James Cronk, who is the co-founder of Golf Industry Guru and Guru Collective. And I had James on the podcast, just had a look at that and listened to it again. That was back 3.5 years ago in March of 2021, in the depths of that little thing called COVID. Remember that? Remember that COVID thing? It actually is still around, still lingering. I have some friends that have actually had the COVID again, unfortunately. But yeah, got James on today. They've done so many other interesting things here to support the golf industry, especially golf club managers, owners, employees, everyone, the good stuff they do. We're going to get James to explain that in a second. But to get started, I'm going to do a little something that I've started to do for the last, 14 weeks now. Talk about consistency now. So we make sure every single Monday, sometimes on Tuesday if Monday's a holiday, to bring you Mod Golf Live. So I'd like to start off with something I call my Monday morning musings. What's going on in golf, maybe even what's going on in the world here. Just to kind of encapsulate a few things. Myself, as a golfer, as the relatable average golfer myself, I got it down to a 12 handicap. But as I was warned many years ago, as James and I were talking before the show started here, that I was warned many years ago when I stumbled into the golf industry that the more I get into golf as a profession and a business, the less golf I will play. And sure enough, I'm very golf adjacent these days. I wish I can play more, wish I had more time to practice. So the old handicap is going up, but I played I play in a men's league on the weekend here in Vancouver at the University Golf Club. So played in that this weekend, had a great time. Actually played below my handicap there. So I actually won the net champion. So I guess I got to get another plastic trophy that's going to drive my wife crazy that I'll have to kind of shove in a closet somewhere because she doesn't like those lying around too much. But so that was fun. So managed to get out and do all that. But the one thing I wanted to mention is what's been going on in the next couple of weeks. I just had a birthday on Friday too. Hey, if you want to leave in the comments here on YouTube, because we want to make this a live and interactive show. Hey, let us know where you're from. And once we get going here with James, please ask some questions. Put them out there. We want to make this live and interactive, as we always do. But hey, if you can also guess, have a guess at what year that I just managed to cross that threshold. What my birthday was here. You know what? Even say way older than I am. Maybe I'll cry in the corner afterwards. But yeah, have some fun with that. Let me know what you think my birthday was on Friday. But I had a buddy of mine out of Toronto where I grew up, high school friend. And he contacted me, and he had the same birthday I had this year. So he said, hey, me and a bunch of buddies, 14 of them are going to Montreal for the President's Cup. So he said, you should come. We got an extra spot. So this is awesome. So last minute thing, going to be jumping on a plane on the 24th. And we're going to play a round of golf in Montreal, all the guys on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the President's Cup, fly back to Vancouver on the Sunday. So looking forward to that. And my plan is to create a little bit of content for Mod Golf while we're there. If I can, depends how many cocktails I have in my hand. Maybe I can hold a camera at the same time, but that's going to be fun. Just to get out there, enjoy life all around golf, not necessarily playing golf at that time. I guess even though we're going to be playing at least one round, but hey, getting out with my friends. And James was even saying he's got a golf trip lined up with his buddies here. Some of the fantastic courses that we have in British Columbia, where we live in Vancouver, just up the road from us, in Whistler and that whole track up there. There's some fabulous courses. So I know James and his buddies are going to hit those before they close for the ski season coming up. But there we have it. So that's my Monday morning musings for September 9th. And with no further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. James Cronk here to see how he is doing today. James, good to see you, sir. How are you?
Colin, it's always a pleasure, bud. Great to see you. Great to chat. And first of all, I can't believe it was March 2021 that we talked last. It's unbelievable how things have flown by. when you think about it that way. It's unbelievable how fast time goes. And I'm so excited for you to go and see the President's Cup. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It really is. And yeah, 3.5 years. And it's not as if it's the last time that you and I talked. Of course, we've been bouncing back and forth quite a bit since then. Even some other golf ventures that we've been looking to collaborate on, and so you and I are not standing still at all. So hey, for our audience here, both the live audience, which once again I encourage everybody, hey, leave chat something post something in the comments here in chat, so we can ask James some questions here. But hey, James, give us an overview what you and your co-founder and friend Scott Massey founded, I guess, really just launching back in 2021, or when you were on the ModGolf podcast. So let's give an overview of GIG, of Golf Industry Guru, and then we'll expand on all the other awesome things that you and Scott are working on since then.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. You bet. I mean, happily, I'll give you the short version because I like to do the 4-hour description, but I know we don't have that much time today. But I mean, very, very quickly, I've been very fortunate to travel all over the world talking to people at golf conferences. And I used to think to myself, how can I take all this great content that I'm hearing from all these experts in their field, and how do I kind of, share that with more people? How do we scale up? Because not everyone can fly to Timbuktu to listen to great gurus in the industry. And so Scott and I decided to create an online training platform called Golf Industry Guru. When you and I chatted back then, Colin, we were just getting started. I remember that. We maybe were not even live yet. And we were gathering content from gurus that are experts in management, leadership, sales and marketing, food and beverage, agronomy. And we created training content that we then kind of share with everyone that joins our platform, Golf Industry Guru. We now have, oh my goodness, we're in 5 countries, Colin. We have about 240 hours of training content. To give you an example, we just launched the other day a beverage cart training course. So we went to a local course here and filmed some footage and created a script and had, have a beverage cart training course, so that if someone has got a brand new employee, they can watch this little, couple-hour course and little 10-minute chapters and take some quizzes. And we use a lot of technology now. I gave a presentation in Spain last month or a couple months ago, Colin, and we actually had me speaking in Spanish on the screen, but I don't speak Spanish. But
no español, no,
cerveza, por favor. That's all I can say. But so here we are able to make training videos in any language around the world now. So we're having a lot of fun. That's Golf Industry Guru. And when, my goodness, back in March 2021, I could think back then, I'm sure we were literally just trying to find our way. We had no idea what we were doing or where we were going. And as we've talked about, you're always pivoting, you're always switching and trying to find things.
Now, I know you well enough as an entrepreneur, been in the golf industry and the hospitality industry for decades. You're going to be dropping entrepreneurial nuggets of wisdom all along the way, whether you even know you're doing it at all. And that's the first one that you just put out there, James. And that is, you said you and Scott just kind of figured it out. You had a pretty good idea as far as the framework of what you wanted to do, where there was a market gap, but you didn't have all the answers. And rather than waiting for perfect, which doesn't exist in anything, as we know, as entrepreneurs, we figure that out pretty quickly. If you're a perfectionist, you're not going to be long as an entrepreneur if you want to succeed. That you just have to put something out there, get some feedback, see what resonates, see what works, do a little more of that. If it doesn't, a little less of that, or get rid of that and try some new things. So the fact that you and Scott were not demanding certainty out of the gate with to figure out, like, if that didn't hit what you assumed was going to work, it's like, nope, we're not doing this, it's done. You were always striving and looking for clarity with everything that you did, every conversation you had, every guest you had on, every piece of content that you created. So you're kind of the poster boy for a successful entrepreneur. And
oh my goodness, we got a long way to go, I can tell you that. But Colin, I listen to all your podcasts and I love all your guests, and you and I both know, because we're immersed in this part of the business, that these guys that you talk to and girls that you talk to that have become successful entrepreneurs, there's no doubt you have to be flexible. You have to listen to the market. You have to listen to your customers. and you got to adjust. And when we first started, we thought we were creating leadership training content for 10 managers at a club. We limited to 10 managers at a club. We very quickly realized that what our clients wanted was for us to actually create content for their frontline staff. They wanted table basics for servers. They wanted, what's a template for closing the golf shop at night, right? So we pivoted right away, and all of a sudden we made our platform available for every employee in a club for the same price. And we started creating more content that was frontline driven as opposed to leadership driven. So, you listen to your clients, you listen to what the market needs, and then you kind of you keep adjusting. And as I said, you listen to all the podcasts on your ModGolf podcast, and you're going to hear a story of an entrepreneur that has made tweaks and changes along the way.
100%. And kind of to add one more piece of what you discovery, kind of your market validation or customer validation, is not only what people want, that content, but what are they willing to pay for? Because ultimately you are a business and you have to be sustainable. You're not doing this as a hobby. So how did you find that? How did you, let's say, kind of whether it was tweak or refine your pricing model? Because you were based as a kind of monthly subscription based model, right? So how did you find, was there an uptick when you found as soon as you said, okay, rather than doing this, we're gonna try this? And as we both know, you can't change 3 things at once, because then if something hits, you don't know which one it is. So you have to A/B test, as we talk about. Can you talk about that inflection point that you and Scott noticed, whether that was a year in or was like whatever time that was, that something hit and all of a sudden you found that traction, that people were then willing to pay for that it kind of took you to that next level? Is there one thing you can hone in on that kind of flipped the switch a bit for you?
Well, it is. I think time will tell if we made the right decision. We decided in the very beginning that we were going to try to remove price as a barrier from our service. So like I said, we're all about scale. So there's 33,000 golf courses in the world. If I had 2% of the market, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be sitting on a boat somewhere in the Mediterranean. Okay. Right. So we decided that, we were going to charge literally $100 a month for unlimited access to our platform. So we listened to a lot of people. We learned about memberships. We learned about annual renewals. It's like gym memberships, Colin. Once you sign up, sometimes even if you don't go, but you want to create value, you want to create repeats. So, and now it's $150 a month. So we started $100, and we've been pushing up the price because we've realized that there's value there. We've realized that customers will, if they're going to sign up, they're not going to not join because of $20 a month or $30. We're talking about a golf club that's got an operating budget of $5 million. If they can't find $1,000 a year to train their people, then what I say to them is that you got bigger problems than joining golf industry. If you don't think there's value in spending $1,000 a year to train all your leadership team and your staff on how to manage conflict better, or how to be safer at work, or how to give better customer service, well then, as I said, I hope you're getting it somewhere else. I don't need every customer, but I need some. But I think that's one interesting thing, that we try to remove price immediately from a barrier of purchase. And normally our challenge is just getting our content in front of decision makers. And that's what the problem with that, Colin, by the way, is that we can't have salespeople all over the world selling our product because we can't afford it.
Right.
We can't afford. There's not enough money in the kitty to pay commission to a salesperson, right? That's out driving around visiting golf clubs one by one. So I would say that's been a bit of our challenge. It's just for Scott and I, we're content creators, but we have to be salespeople. And when you charge such a nominal amount, then it limits your ability to kind of invest in your sales force.
Yes. Well, other nugget you put out there, you kept using the V word, and that was value rather than price. Because I run into this with so many entrepreneurs, especially that I teach a couple of entrepreneurship courses. So kind of new entrepreneurs, especially younger people, and they get in their mind it's about price and the competition and trying to be less than the competition. And you and I have talked about this, that blue ocean strategy piece, and that you embrace this also, where that business methodology is not competing, the race to the bottom on price. Is how do you unlock new customer value with new offerings, maybe taking from other industries, other sectors, and bringing in elements of that and applying that to what you're doing. And I know full well that that's what you're bringing as far as that value proposition and that differentiator of what you're doing. So then ultimately, price isn't even an issue. And you said the value that you're offering there, if it's 50% more than it was a year ago, the value is there, and they're willing to pay that willingly because they know they're getting that value. And so many people lose sight of that, or maybe they're not even aware of that it's really the value you're adding, not the price that you're charging for something that's the most predominant feature or benefit. Not that even cheapness is a benefit for the most part. So you're definitely embracing that, and I know you teach that with everything that you do. And I've heard you, as far as I think you're part of your marketing piece, and it's very intentional. I've heard you speak many times. You're a compelling, dynamic, fun speaker with great content. And you said you just got back from Spain, as you mentioned there. So that also works. Well, you can elaborate this. I don't want to speak on your behalf here, but I know full well in your mind, I'm sure that's part of your marketing strategy of going to these conferences as a thought leader. The people that you want to attract are already there. We talk about this concept of meet people where they're at, rather than you trying to chase them and bring them in through that funnel. You're going to where your tribe already is. So tell us a bit about that with the speaking that you're doing, being intentional with the conferences that you go to, and how at the end do you see a bump in what you're doing, not only with Golf Industry Guru, but also with Guru Collective that we're going to talk about in a moment here too.
Well, I'll also bring it together because while you're going to be enjoying a beverage in Royal Montreal for the President's Cup, I'm going to be in Hilton Head at the Golf Inc. Summit in South Carolina and Savannah, Georgia, where there will be probably the most significant delegate list of golf course owners and operators and management companies that come together. There's only one other exclusive event that you can go to in the States where you would have the kind of individuals that'll be at this summit. And you're 100%. I put my name out there to be a speaker. We're trying to very much get into the U.S. because as you mentioned, Guru Collective, we have two other. I mentioned before about the challenges of spending money on marketing when you have one product. We've been very lucky to get the North American rights to two other platforms that, in my opinion, significantly complement Golf Industry Guru, and in fact, really have created us. I know you've talked about it before, Colin. We talk about Simon Sinek and the Start With Why, one of my favorite, most important books any entrepreneur can read, because you better be clear about what your why is if you want to start getting up on stage and selling yourself and selling people. And what we've molded into with Guru Collective, we have two other platforms. One is called the Toolbox, which is a safety platform that fundamentally focuses on the golf course agronomy department and clubhouse food and beverage. So imagine you've got a QR code, Colin. You have a new employee. The QR code is on a mower. The new employee gets started. He scans a QR code with his phone. Up comes the safety requirements of that mower. Up comes the individual's profile. He signs on his phone that he's been trained on how to use that mower. The person that trained her on how to use that mower signs on their phone they've been trained. 3 months later, they get in an accident. The inspector shows up and says, "Prove to me that you went through all the proper training processes in order to help that person be safe." And the Toolbox will prove it. And you've got everything in there, including chemicals and pesticides and licenses and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the Toolbox. And then the second platform, that's from Australia, by the way, and they have 100+ clubs in Australia, and we're very fortunate to have the North American rights to that. The second platform we have is also from Australia. Talk about an area where they're developing some amazing technology.
Right.
And it's called eGolf Waiver, and it's a digital waiver, Colin, that people should sign. So once again, reduces risk and value. And I'll give you a quick story. There's one client in Michigan. There's one client in the U.S. right now that has the golf waiver platform. we're just launching it literally next week in North America. And they 2 years ago had $55,000 of damage to their golf carts that they couldn't collect from their customers. When they implemented the golf waiver, they reduced that to $6,000. So our platform costs around $3,000 a year. So when you talk about value and ROI, yeah. Right? And how do you explain that? And you know, I like to say I can't take my kid to a trampoline park without signing my life away 5 different times. Yet we give people a motorized vehicle with no seatbelt, you know, to drive through a place that has water hazards and bunkers, and then we give them some beer for them to drink. And you know, we have no protection but if they sign a waiver, I can assure you, you're going to reduce the people that are going to not come back to you for paying for damage, not sue you for the fact they stepped in a pothole, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to get back to your comment, Colin, sorry, I might have got off track. I go to these conferences to share our why, to get people, and I also, because of Golf Industry Guru, you'll never see me stand on stage and say, let me tell you what to do. What you'll see me stand on stage and say is that I have an opportunity to listen to very brilliant people that lead golf clubs. Let me tell you how they do it. Right? Because I get a chance. That's how I spend my entire day is learning and listening to all these great experts and following them on LinkedIn or on their posts or social media. So it's a fun way to do it.
Another nugget you drop there too. It's surround yourself with people that are smarter. I would say even funnier, just more creative, basically just awesome people. Surround yourself with great people. They will elevate you. And that's sort of one of the whys with me with the ModGolf podcast, why I started 7 years ago and keep on going almost 200 episodes in, is that, I've just now met, including yourself, these amazing people, with a lot of them now I'm friends with, that have just enriched my life, have opened my eyes, to made me sometimes think in different ways, realize there's more other experiences out there, things I didn't even think about, and just made me, I think, a better person, both in life and in golf and in business. And ultimately, I think you embrace that all. I know that you embrace that also.
Well, you know what I would add, Colin, very clearly. Golf Industry Guru wouldn't be here without Scott Massey. Okay. Because let me rephrase that. It would be in my head. It had been in my head for 5 years. It would be in my head, but it wouldn't become reality unless I partnered with someone that gets stuff done. Someone that is get stuff done kind of person. Right. And Scott and I known each other for a long time. We've worked together a long time. We're a very good combination of skill sets, that stuff that I'm good at, stuff that he's good at, and together we get stuff done. But, you know, I realized in the beginning, you know, it's probably one of my sales pitches to Scott. He probably regrets it today. But, you know, it's like, come along this journey, and there's a lot of exciting things that we can try to accomplish. We're a long way away from being on a boat in the Mediterranean. You know, but you know, when I same thing. I listen to other entrepreneurs. Like, so you said March 2021, and you know what it made me think?
What's
it made me think, like, it's only been a couple of years. Like it's only been a couple of years. So if it was 10 years that I've been doing this and we were at the level that we're at from a scale standpoint, I should get another job. But, you know, it's only been a couple of years, and here we are in 5 countries around the world. Here we are with a couple thousand members that we've got doing, you know, listening to our content. Here we are, you know, I got a phone call the other day, an email the other day from the PR firm that represents the founder of Golf Tech, asking if they could be on our podcast. And you know, Colin, I can tell you that the difference between me chasing everyone to be on our podcast, obviously that's, you know, for whatever reason, they thought that's a good idea. So, you know, as I said, it takes a long time. You can't give up. You got to keep tweaking and turning and working it. and you know the whole program, you know how it works. But we're having fun, at least I can tell you that.
Love it. Love it. Well, I know Joe Ossel, CEO and founder of Golf Tech. I've had him on the podcast way back in season 1.
Awesome.
So it'd be great that you have him back on. I believe they're celebrating their 30th anniversary. So I'm sure you'll have lots to talk about with Joe, and that aligns so perfectly with the type of content, the type of insights that your audience, that you understand. You can't be everything to everybody, and nor should you be, but you've got your total addressable market, as you talked about, of what, 35,000 golf courses or so?
33,000 potential customers, sure.
So what's your accessible market and the size that you need to grow? So the fact you have this incremental growth year by year, again, as an entrepreneur, just like myself, it's like you want everything that happens so fast. We have this energy and all these ideas. We need to focus, but you also need to be patient. And that for us is so difficult, right? It almost is in conflict between wanting to go 1,000,000 miles an hour without stopping from going around the track and changing the tires and adding more fuel. You just want to keep going. But sometimes, well, you're not just sometimes, for that sustainability piece, not only for ourselves physically and mentally, but also for our business. It's that balance between going as fast as you can, being focused, but also being patient and kind to your business and to yourself. And there's no playbook for this as entrepreneurship, right? You don't read a book and go, oh, this is the way it works. There's no size fits all. You and I are doing similar things at certain times, but again, it's completely different recipe that we have to deal with. But it is trying to figure out, should we stop doing this? Is this something that it's futile, that we're just putting energy into doing something where I should maybe be stepping back, park my ego and take a deep breath and going, you know what? I learned from that. It's not a failure. I'm not saying anything we're doing this. I'm just using that overarching example and going a different direction. And we've done that in the past with certain things. And ultimately, the early things that we looked at the time, we thought, oh gosh, we failed at that. Those have informed us, have given us such insight, and also the connectivity to partners that ultimately we have never had a chance to cultivate that level of trust with, that we have, that 5 years later, 7 years later. Now the other bigger things that we're working on outside of ModGolf are now coming to fruition. And that's the exciting piece that you've got to kind of keep on plugging away like you and Scott are.
Well, you know, it's so difficult to not chase shiny objects. Right. And when you're an entrepreneur, like, there's nothing that is more impactful to my business than deciding what I'm going to do every morning when I get to my desk, and then deciding what am I doing for the next 8, 9, 10 hours, right? And what am I going to spend my time on? And what shiny objects make me chase over here, chase over there? And you have to, like, you know, you hear people talk about working on your business as opposed to working in your business. When you're a startup and you're just getting going, like, you have to really focus on those types of things. Because, you know, we can have all the content in the world, but if we're not selling, if we're not connecting, if we're not getting out there and doing things, you know, it's for naught. You know, I know I'm you and I have been chatting the other day. I'm going to speak in a conference in Ireland in next May, the Golf Business Technology Conference, right? And I know you're chatting with Boo, is just a brilliant guy on things there. But here's what I would say, Colin, that because I just did a podcast with Abu a couple days ago, and we were talking about technology, and he was saying, you know, how do you embrace technology in your work? And I'm like, oh my goodness, like first of all, I don't write anything without ChatGPT. You know, I'm you know, as I said, I'm speaking Spanish in a video, but I'll describe it this way. Here's what I think the future is going to be, Colin, and this is where we're hoping to be a leader in this area. Right now, when I create a training video, I have to write the script. I have to put it into a platform. I have to go and film some B-roll footage of someone washing a golf cart, and then I got to put it all together. And Scott does all the editing and finds the music and finds stuff.
Right.
I have no doubt that in the next 12 months, at some point, I am going to be able to say, make me a training video on how to clean a golf cart, and do this, that, and this, that, and this, and that. And I'm going to hit a button, and what's going to be produced is a very professionally done, with created video that is made by AI, that I can then edit and change, right? But it's like our chatbot. We have this chatbot feature on our platform. So when you use our chatbot, you go onto our platform, you say, I'm a manager of a golf course and I'm having I'm having slow play challenges. And so I need to get my marshals to find some better ways of communicating the importance of pace of play with our customers. So you can go onto our chatbot and you can type in, give me 10 best practices on how to improve pace of play. And it will search our curated library of content from experts in the pace of play business, as opposed to searching the World Wide Web and just getting whatever it gets. It goes through our library only and brings up the information. And then I can say, and please turn this into a memo from me to send to all my marshals. And I hit go. And then up comes a memo. And then I copy and paste and send an email. And within 3 minutes, I now have a curated, professional, knowledge-based, fact-based piece of content that I would have taken me. Well, first of all, it wouldn't have got done because it wouldn't have got done because it would be 10th on my list of things I have to do today in managing a golf club, and it wouldn't have got done. So technology is drastically making our business more exciting, more efficient. And because we have knowledge from gurus and we're specialists in the golf business, I feel like there's a great opportunity there.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. You talk about in the future, as far as being able to create videos or imagery, exactly whatever you type in as that prompt. The future is here, my friend, because that quality is already there. I've been playing around with a few things myself. I think my background in architecture and design and graphics and all that good stuff and video creation. And it's pretty amazing / frightening what you can actually produce that looks like a human actually produced it, that the quality is good, where I'm a bit of a design snob where I'll look at things and go, no, there's no way I'm going to use that. But now it's like, wow, that's pretty impressive of what you can actually create. So I completely agree. Taking those pieces of work, if you will, as far as tasks off of our plate. I know you and Scott are very much like I am. You're still scrapping away, climbing the mountain here, doing a lot of these things on your own and slowly bringing in more people to help you out, using tools and automation and AI now to also kind of boost your productivity. So I'm certainly there with you, and I'm exploring all of these tools also. It'll be very interesting when you and I have a conversation, hopefully in another 3.5 years, and have you back on either the podcast or ModGolf Live, and go there. I know it's very last minute. I said, welcome to ModGolf Live here. Once again, everybody joining us on YouTube, we got about half a dozen people with us. So thanks for joining us. I know we're just wrapping up here in a minute here with James, but hey, if you got any questions for James, once again, we want to make this live and interactive. I'm more than happy to keep asking questions because I can be here for hours, even though we wanted to respect James's time and go and move on a little bit so we can get on with your day and everybody else. But hey, once again, the last couple of minutes here, if you've got any questions for James about all the good things he's doing in the golf industry, about entrepreneurship, or whatever's on your mind, just let us know. And while I'm here also, you can see on the bottom, my simple ask here today. Hey, if you enjoy what we're doing here in the ModGolf podcast, hey, show us a little bit of love. Subscribe to our channel here. We've almost reached 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. We've really grown over the last couple of months now that we're creating more content. And if we get to this magical 1,000 subscriber level, it unlocks a level of monetization. Won't be a lot, but it's just a couple more dollars that helps us pay for our production costs here and allows us to create more content with amazing innovators and entrepreneurs in the golf industry like Mr. James Cronk. So, hey, if you're willing to do that, that's my ask here today, that show us a little bit of love here. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. Leave a comment, like what we're doing here, and it helps us just to get up inside that algorithm that YouTube has there, so that we can increase our ranking and more people will be able to see all the great things that we're doing here on a weekly basis here with the ModGolf podcast. So hey, James, to finish up, any last little kind of nuggets you want to drop, or maybe what's going on in the future beyond all the good things that you've mentioned that you and Scott are working on and what you're going to be doing next year in 2025 I believe it's in Belfast that the golf business conference is at, that hopefully I'll be at also. But yeah, any last thoughts that you can impart or share with us as we finish up?
Well, hey, thanks, Colin. First of all, I encourage your listeners as well to subscribe. You've got amazing list and library of guests that you've had, and I know myself in doing my podcast that when I write my notes down, there's 3 or 4 nuggets that I take from talking to every single person that is valuable and unique, right? To all different things. And if you're certainly if you're in the golf business or you're an entrepreneur in the golf business, the lessons that you can learn from listening to other entrepreneurs in the golf business. I'm doing that all the time. I'm always listening to people like Joe and other people and hearing what they have to say and say, oh, don't do that, do that, don't do that, and do that. Like you're taking your notes, right, and you're learning. So no, I encourage everyone to. I've always said, as soon as you realize you're not the smartest person in the room, then the world is your oyster, because you can constantly be improving and learning and listening to others. And even if you don't agree with them, lots of people don't agree with me all the time, but that's not my role. My purpose is not that people agree with me. My purpose is that people think and to challenge themselves and to learn. And I'll give you this. So Colin, I am not as glass half full as other people are about the future of golf. Okay. And I've said this before. I say it when I'm giving presentations. If your business was broken before COVID and you haven't changed anything today, you're still broken. You might be doing 20% more rounds of golf or more business or higher revenue because everyone has jacked their prices up, but your business was broken before. So unless your marketing's better, your service is better, your people are better, your experience is better, your burgers are better, your greens are better, guess what? You did nothing to change this experience. And the consumer will always tell us who's best and who's not. So I worry about the future of golf because I worry about the fact that kids are not drastically coming to the game. I worry about the fact that golf is incredibly difficult to learn, and this makes life incredibly immediate. And I also am worried that, hitting golf balls in a bar in high heels while you're watching a football game out to some targets is not the same as playing Royal County Down in Belfast, right, in the howling wind, and 5 degrees out. That's a totally different experience, or what you experienced on the weekend. So I encourage everyone to get kids into the game, to get your kids into the game, and take a kid out to play golf. That's my final little pitch.
Love that. Well, hey, now I want to ask you like 10 other questions, but I'm going to show some restraint. I'm going to hold off on that because I know you have to go here too. So hey, the last thing I am going to put up here, though, is a little call to action for you. So there you go. Once again, gurucollective.ca. Why don't you let our viewers, not only that are joining us live here today, but I know we've been actually growing and growing. We average almost 1,000 views of what we're doing here with our live streams afterwards. So anyone in the golf industry that's out there, that is your audience. So we're here. Last word to you, James. Speak to them. Why should they go check out gurucollective.ca to increase the value and break that complacency you talked about, that they're just thinking, oh, it's growing, everything's going to be great. So here, go for it. Here you go.
Well, if you work in the golf business, then I entice you to go to gurucollective.ca and see our platforms and our tools and help yourself get better. Make sure your club knows about Golf Industry Guru. If you're a sous chef working in a golf club, then there's content there that's going to help you become an executive chef and continue to grow your business and make more money and get better. So if you work in the golf business, in particular, if you run a golf club, then please check out our platforms that I guarantee you will provide more value than the cost, both financially and in creating an environment where your employees feel protected, trained, safe, and that they love to work where your business is. So visit Guru Collective. You'll find my information as well. You can send me an email. I'm happy to answer any question, or introduce someone to someone, or whatever it might be, Colin. That our business is all about people. That's why I love guys like yourself. And I'm always looking to learn more. So yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. And one thing I just realized, you've never had to actually tolerate my 16 handicap in real life. So we can squeeze it in sometime, even in this season here. I think we got to get out on the golf course, because I would enjoy spending some time with you. Does Scott play? I'm assuming Scott plays too.
Scott, unfortunately, Scott plays rarely with his young children in his house. And then he, sweets it off the tee and rips it down the middle with a smooth swinging swing, and probably beats me by 5 or 6 strokes. And I'm struggling all the time out there trying to practice and hit balls. So yes, he does play. He's got a great swing, but none of us play as much as we wish. That's for sure. So our games are up and down, but 100%, the 3 of us will get out and tee it up one day.
Let's do it. Okay. Scott is not invited. I hate him already, at least on the golf course. So no, he's not coming with us. He'll stay at home and have to work on Guru Collective. So, hey, why don't we finish up here? So James Cronk, co-founder of Golf Industry Guru and Guru Collective, thank you for joining me on ModGolf Live this morning.
Thanks, Colin. Great stuff. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.